So this is my rat, Maggie, trying to be dominant to Amy, which Amy is the dominant of the three because there's Undiel. What Maggie is doing is not harmful. It may be uncomfortable, but it's not going to actually hurt them. There's Maggie drinking out of her bowl. There's water in there. I do have a bottle water, as you can see, but Maggie prefers the bowl. The other two prefer the bottle. So it'd be nice to give your rats the option. Here she goes, trying to be dominant again. She's just tugging on her as Amy asserts her dominance again. This is completely natural. If your rats are doing this, it's perfectly fine. You don't have to worry about it unless they start bleeding. Now, Amy will usually tolerate a certain amount, but after a while she says stop. Now, Undiel is the least dominant, so she doesn't usually fight back. Maggie just likes to pick on them. This would be a really good example of play fighting. As you can hear, Amy makes a squeal, which is kind of like saying back off. And it's just a matter of whether Maggie will listen. These two, Amy and Undiel, are very close. They've been together since I got them, at least, and possibly longer. I don't usually interfere because if I interfere, their conflict is not settled, and I allow them to settle their conflict among themselves. And then they go back to being normal once their conflict is settled. I just think it's so adorable how she drinks. Here's a hammock I made for them. It's got little folds inside it for them to go into, so if it's cold they can hide under there and be comfortable and warm. If you notice what Amy is doing, I am not 100% sure what that is. I have spoken to a few people and they think it's hiccups. So no one really knows what they're doing when they do that. But she's done it so often, and my previous rats have done it before, that it is harmless. It's not going to hurt them. That's why we think it's hiccups or maybe them coughing in some way. As it stops, you can see it doesn't last long. And she started again, but it lasts maybe a minute or two. Rats absolutely love hammocks. There's Amy being a little brat again. Sorry, it was Maggie being the brat. Amy was being pushed around. Even though they pick on each other, they are the sweetest to people. So please don't get the wrong idea. They just play fight. So Amy has... See, they're conflicting play fighting to see who's the top rat. Whoop. Now Maggie's picking on Undiel. Possibly because she realizes that Amy keeps beating her. No, these two are not play fighting. I think they're communicating in some way, talking to each other. As everybody starts to go their own way. Okay, please do not assume that my rats don't get along. They get along perfectly fine. They absolutely love each other. This is just an example of what play fighting looks like compared to actual fighting. Actual fighting is extremely aggressive. You will know there will be loud screeching, toppling, even possibly biting really hard, blood. So this is just an example that you don't have to worry if your rats are just tossing around lightly. If it ever gets more extreme, then I would suggest maybe reintroducing them to each other. So yes, my rats get along extremely well. This is just asserting dominance all over again. They do this maybe once a month, but it is dominance. It's nothing to worry about. Following this video, I will show some pictures of my rats being very cuddly so that you know they are extremely sweet and love each other.